everyone, my name is Priyanka and welcome to my vlog. Today I'm going to teach you how to deal with narcissistic individuals. Now, almost all of us have experienced or are currently experiencing company of toxic and narcissistic individuals. So let's say you're an empath. You're somebody who wants to shower people with lots of love and care and affection because you want to receive the same thing from others. And you end up going out of your way, you end up doing so much for others. But at the end of the day, you don't really receive that kind of love and affection back. You don't receive that kind of attention back. People don't value you. People don't value your time and effort. And you feel drained. You feel overwhelmed. And sometimes it's just that one person in your life, or maybe just a few people in your life, who are making you feel this way. Because they know that you're an empath. They know that you are a giver. You give a lot of love and affection. You give a lot of time and energy and effort to people around you. And most often, narcissistic individuals look for people who are empaths. So if you are in the company of a narcissistic individual and you feel drained, then you've come to the right vlog, because I'm going to teach you ways in which you need to handle your own self. See, you cannot change other individuals, you cannot change people around you, but you can change the way you have been thinking, and you can change the way you've been reacting to this world, because you are the one who has allowed another individual in your life to treat you this way. Once you get a grasp on this, then everything in your life will become better. The idea is not to actually blame yourself. The idea is to understand that you were the one who allowed another individual to keep on treating you, mistreating you in a certain way. They were emotionally blackmailing you, they were manipulating you, and they were taking you for granted. And now time has come for you to change the way you've been looking at yourself, because if you don't do that, you'll keep on blaming others and you'll keep on allowing people to mistreat you. So today we're going to learn ways in which we are going to change the way we've been looking at ourselves and how we can handle a narcissistic individual in our life. So let's understand this very simple truth, that a narcissistic individual is mistreating you because you don't have healthy boundaries, right? I mean, you think of a lot of things in your life that are okay, but they're actually not okay. You allow people to keep on pushing you into a corner. They will take advantage of your time. They will take advantage of your efforts and energy. They will, in fact, remind you that you're not doing enough. That's exactly what's happening to you, because you don't have healthy boundaries. And because you don't have healthy boundaries, what's happening to you is that you end up saying yes all the time to people who do not value you. Now, if you want to do better in life, you have to understand that you need to have healthy boundaries. You need to learn the art of saying no to people who are toxic, right? But you don't have that kind of courage. You don't have that kind of backing. You cannot back your own self because you think that you need people in your life to support you. So if they're your parents, if they are your siblings, so what they'll do is they will keep on creating drama around the fact that you're not giving them enough. So you're never enough. In fact, every time they make you feel that you're not enough, it should be a sign for you to at least create some distance between you and the people who tell you that, you're not enough, your efforts are not enough. Because let me ask you something. Are they making efforts to make your life better? Probably not. You know why they're not making efforts to make your life better? Because they don't want to make you feel good. If you get to that understanding, then yes, you can create healthy boundaries. Just watch out for people who keep on complaining. They're naysayers, they will come and say to you, you know what? You didn't do enough. You are somebody who's lacking in life. They'll complain about your habits. They'll complain about your routine, about your finances. They'll complain about everything that you're doing in life to make your life better. So let's say if you have a career, you're doing very well in your career, but you're not able to give time at home, they will create drama around that. Now, if you're a homemaker, Then they're going to create drama around you being a homemaker. They'll tell you, you know what? You're not earning. So you don't have the right to say anything. Or if you're in a very low paying job, they'll tell you that, you know what, you did nothing with your life, you're a loser. Or if you're fat, they'll tell you, you know what, you don't eat well, so you're fat. If you're thin, they'll tell you, you know what, you don't look good because now clothes are hanging on you. Like this, they'll have some sort of opinion about you. They'll tell you you don't do well in parties where our relatives are coming, you don't sit well, you don't talk well, you're always in a corner. In fact, they're going to point out all of your flaws in front of people. That's exactly what's happening to you. Then you need to understand that this individual is a narcissistic individual, and what about them? If you open up your mouth and say one word about them to others in a party or in a group, you know what's going to happen to you? You are going to see so much of drama. They will create drama not only in front of others, sometimes they will keep quiet, but they will also create drama back at home. When you come back from their party, they will create drama about the fact that you had the guts or goals to say something in front of others. But when they do that, it's okay. So if you want to really create a better life, you have to have healthy boundaries. Let's say they are mocking you in front of others, keep your cool and composure and keep looking at them. Just notice what they are saying, and that should build up wall around your heart and around your mind, because if you don't have that wall up, if you don't have those boundaries up, you will keep saying yes to them. And if you really want to improve your life, the moment you start building up these walls, what you're going to do is you're going to slowly step away from their company. You're going to make an effort to walk away from them, at least if not physically, mentally. You'll not let somebody tamper with your emotions, because that's what we're going to learn. We are going to learn how to create blockages for a narcissistic individual so that they cannot use our emotions to create that drama, because that's what happens. They trigger you, then you lose your steam, and then people tell you, you know what, you are the problem. It's not you, it's somebody else who's creating all of this drama, and you're the one who's reacting and coming out looking very bad in front of others. The only way you can handle a narcissistic individual is to not play the game, because they want you to play the game. And sometimes they become so brazen that they'll tell you, you know what? Why are you not responding? Especially when you stop responding, when you stop reacting, they will come at you and they'll tell you, why are you not responding? Why are you not reacting? That's when you know that you are being played, that they always want you to play the game, because they went through these games as children. Their parents always treated them like players on a chessboard. They pitted the siblings against each other. They were always asked to be perfectionist. So now you are actually at the receiving end of that kind of mental strategy. They'll use every possible strategy in this world to make you play that game. So they'll create a lot of unwanted drama. They will sometimes not tell you things in entirety, especially if you are living in a toxic family. And if your parents are narcissistic, what they'll do is they will not share what's going on in the household. They will always tell you that finances are tight. They'll always tell you to do a lot of savings. If you end up buying something which is of necessity, they will tell you it was a bad decision. They will make birthdays, anniversaries, everything so gloomy. I am pretty sure that if you were raised in a toxic home, you never had happy birthdays, and like your birthdays were all about sadness. And when people saw perfect birthday parties, but just before the start of the birthday party or at the end of the birthday party, you always, even through that birthday party, in the middle of it, you were always aware of your narcissistic parents trying to create drama. Or they would, take you in a corner and tell you that don't enjoy too much. It's my money. Something or the other was said to you to make you feel like, although we are throwing a birthday party for you and you should be grateful about it, it's not for your enjoyment. It's to make sure that we have a social standing in the society. That's exactly what happens to a lot of people who are raised in narcissistic homes. They never get to enjoy any moment. So even vacations are loaded with lots of guilt. Vacations are loaded with lots of drama. In fact, they will make sure that you don't enjoy any part of that vacation. If that vacation is not about them, it's not about them enjoying that vacation, then it's not a vacation. They will enjoy every aspect of that vacation. They will go and meet relatives sometimes on that vacation, and they will, create such beautiful stories about how perfect their family is. But you know what's happening in the inside. You know how they are creating these memories for others, but it's a distorted memory. And you'll feel as if you're living two different lives. One is the life that you live in front of your relatives and people their friends and all, and one life is what you're living in their house. So this is how you need to understand that if you are in a company of a narcissistic parent or a sibling, then you need to create a barrier. How do we overcome all of that unhealthy, dramatic life? Because if you're not able to move away from them physically, you have to move away from them mentally. And you can do that by creating happy moments for yourself every day. You don't have to show your happiness to them. You have to only feel happy. And you can feel happy because you have certain things that are working out for you in your life. It's just that you've not realized what is working out for you. You've never paid attention to that because you were so busy paying attention to the life that your narcissistic parents and sibling are creating for you. So the only way you can break that cycle is to sit in stillness. Try it and see how it's going to change your thinking, because you need to overcome that conditioning that they have done. Because right now you've been conditioned to think a certain way, you've been conditioned to react a certain way. You will always feel as if you're the victim, that you are the one who has gone through all of this, and why doesn't it stop? You need to have an understanding of why they're doing this to you. You can never get an understanding from a narcissistic individual. You cannot, unless they go through a spiritual change, which I hardly think happens to anybody. It doesn't happen, right? So what you need to do is you need to quieten that mind of yours, because unless you quieten that mind of yours, you'll never be able to introduce a new thought. And you don't introduce new thoughts or old ones. You need to remove the old thoughts. So how do we remove these old thoughts? We can only remove these old thoughts if we create some form of stability in our mind. Because if you're always thinking through a chaotic thought process, we'll never be able to introduce a new thought. So first we have to stabilize that mind of ours, because it's continuously thinking, it's overthinking, it's just creating all of these thought processes about how this individual has treated you. Thinking thoughts like why and how and why me. So we have to move away from all of these questions because they serve no purpose. The only question you need to ask yourself is, how do I get out of this whole dramatic situation and how do I improve my life? That's the only question you need to ask yourself. And the answer to that is that you need to sit with yourself in stillness, because if you don't do that, you will never be able to overcome that conditioning. Because right now you're conditioned. It took years for a narcissistic individual, especially if they were your parents, to teach you ways in which you could never move away from this whole idea of that, I am going through this and I went through this, and why me? Because that's exactly why they're doing it. They want you to question your own self, your own belief systems. They want to create unstable mental conditions. And if you don't move away into a more stable zone, what's going to happen to you is that your life is going to crumble, because every decision of yours is going to be based on uncertainty, lots of self doubt, and then you'll end up reliving that toxicity by marrying a toxic individual, or sometimes you don't marry, you just live a life where you don't find the right partner, and you end up sometimes being very, very lonely, because now you can't have friends, you can't have partners, or you cannot be committed to somebody. You are easily triggered. So all of this is happening because you don't have a stable mindset, and the only way you can bring some sort of stability is to create better thoughts. But to create better thoughts, you have to first write them down. You need to write down what kind of life you envision for yourself, because it's not about manifestation. Let me be very, very clear. It's all about changing the way you are seeing yourself, about how you envision yourself, how you want to see yourself in the future. Because the moment you do that, what you're doing is you are creating a different perception about you and about your own life. And when you do that, when you see that there's a possibility of living a life that was not envisioned for you, because right now you're living a life that was envisioned for you by a narcissistic parent. So what you can do is that you can create a better life by first writing it down. So just write it down. And then when you go to bed every night, just dream about it. When you start dreaming about it, you start creating these subconscious thoughts in your mind, you will wake up with a different enthusiasm for life. And then you're going to make decisions that are going to change your life around, because till now you didn't have hope. So you have to instill that hope through training of your subconscious mind. It sounds very tricky and all, but it's not actually very tricky. It's just that you are introducing new thoughts. And when you start creating new thoughts, you start creating new decisions. And when you start making new decisions, you start moving away from the company of toxic people in your life. So this is how very simple ways in which you can deal with narcissistic individuals. Now, there are lots of other steps, but they're going to take a lot of explaining and time. So right now we're going to make a short, sweet vlog where I've given you very simple steps through which you can change your life around. And if you love my vlog, do like, share, and subscribe, and comment down below. And thank you for watching, and see you in the next one.